Hi everyone. Hi. Hi. Give me a second. I am literally just, you know me, I'm always getting my life together. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Um, it's your girl Winn. I started this segment drinking water. Okay guys, bear with me. I'm coming on. Just bear with me. I'm coming. Let me just share this video really quick. And we're just about to get in to this segment tonight. Okay. All right. Anyways, happy Friday, first and foremost. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. So before we start this segment off, I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, spend time with your family, ate some good food. If you're like me, I am a foodie, so I'm always happy to gather with my families and just spend time together because sometimes you don't get to see them so often because everybody's busy or not everybody live near each other. So, Thanksgiving or the holidays are always a good time to catch up with family. So I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving yesterday and got some Black Friday shopping done for the Christmas if you're doing Christmas this year. For me, Christmas is canceled, so I didn't do no shopping. So I just want to throw that out there. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving and to this Friday and everybody's home relaxing and we can chat with Winn. So once again, we are the Inner Circle podcast. We are here Monday through Friday. Each day there's different segment that is being hosted by our wonderful panelists. And Friday you get to see your girl Winn. Friday you hang out with me and I come with some social topics, that is trending. And I'm also open to viewers sending me topics as well. So before we get the ball rolling tonight, I just love to lay out my ground rules. I think sometimes I just like to put it out there. If you're in the comments, please comment, please engage. This segment is social segment, so anything can go. Just few things, be respectful of other people's opinion. Understanding that we all can agree to disagree. We don't have to be disrespectful. What somebody say, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. You're free to state yours. But I love the engagement. I love for people to engage with me. If you want to get on the live to join the topic, let me know. I can also send you the link as well. And then I can bring you into the studio with me. But yeah, so engage with me. Let's have a conversation tonight. And, it's Friday, so I'm only here for an hour. Not here to take up too much of your time because I know it's Friday. People got stuff going on. But I just need 1 hour of your conversations tonight. Once again, this is your girl Winn. My co-host Patience is not here tonight, but she will be back next week. And next week I have I have some surprises in store. But for now, we're just gonna keep it cute, keep it cordial, because it's Friday. Okay. So tonight I want to talk about the concept of eras. Right. I think in this generations we find ourselves this year of 2025. I think it started like 2023, 2020. Hi, Eric. Nice seeing you. Thank you for joining. Hi. I think 2020, I think it was 2023. It started giving birth to the era of so many things. And then we get into 2024. I kept hearing the word era, this, era, that, era, this, era, that. And now in 2025, it's even more like I'm hearing it more frequently. And when I'm talking about eras, we have like soft girl era, clean girl era, my church girl era, my modesty era. It's like everything now in this world or everything in this generation that we find ourselves is an era, right? And I'm kind of interested, like, okay, what is the clean girl eras? Like, what is that? Like, my brain is like, were we not, like, how did we come up with all these different eras that we find ourselves in today? There's a lot of clean girl era, young girl aesthetics. I mean, all of these things. So my question tonight is that to my viewers, if you're watching, have a conversation with me. What is this era thing, right? What give birth to this, all these different eras we find ourselves in? I hear a lot of women A big one I've been hearing trending is the soft girl era, right? And what is the soft girl eras? And I'm curious to know tonight. So if you're in the comments, if you have some, this definition of the soft girl era, I would love to hear it. Chat with me. Let me know, what is a soft girl era? Like, what does that look like? Because I have seen a lot of courses around women talking about, oh, I'm in my soft girl era. Does that mean like you're more present with yourself? Does that mean hi? Does that mean you are like kinder to yourself? Does that mean you're more gentle with yourself for that soft girl era? Or what does that mean? Or does it mean like I'm in my soft girl era, so I'm not gonna like date, I'm gonna focus on me? All of these things. A lot of people are in this era of their lives, but so I'm curious tonight, if you're in the comments and you're like, want to chat, let's chat and let's talk about it. How does that soft girl era look like? Because I'm curious. I keep hearing it. I mean, I think I have a little bit of a background on what the soft girl era contains, from what I've seen. When I hear women talk about them being in their soft girl era, I hear about them talking about being more present with themselves in a way of like taking care of their personal cares, taking care of like themselves, like being more attentive to, like how they respond to things. Like if they're more engaged, less engagement in dramas or toxic things that doesn't bring them like, peace, right? So I think a lot of the time when I hear the soft girl era, I hear women talking about being more relaxed or walking in the feminine, right? And not the masculine, right? A lot of women are walking in masculine, and it's not because they want to, it's because they have to. If we're being honest here tonight, a lot of women don't want to be masculine. A lot of women don't want to do it all. But we live in a generation where some women do have to take on that bowl, take on that situation and just be masculine and kind of get the job done for themselves or for their kids, right? So a lot of the time you hear those women are speaking out and saying, hey, I'm ready for my soft girl era. I'm ready to be relaxed. I'm ready to be present. I'm ready to be engaging with my loved ones. Or I'm just ready to travel, right? I'm ready to travel. And I think the soft girl era, if you really ask me, give birth to all of these eras in one setting. I know people might think like it's different eras, like the modesty era, the cleaning girl era, or the aesthetic era, or the travel era. If you really ask me, and we're being honest tonight, I believe all of those different dynamics of eras that people talk about are all found in that soft girl era, right? Because when you think about the word soft, S-O-F-T, it's a place of like calmness, right? It's a place of calmness, it's a place of peace, it's a place of love, it's a place of understanding, it's a place of like gentleness. Like the word soft is actually soft, right? If we're thinking about it here tonight. So I think in my understanding, in my opinion, I don't think we need 5 different eras as a woman or as a like going through stages. But I think once you have entered that soft era, that soft girl era, you are most likely able to give birth to other versions of yourself, of different pieces of you. So yeah, I think the soft girl era give birth to all of these things. Give birth to that modesty woman. And if we talk about modesty, I think what I've seen a lot of people talk about is the way in which they show up and the way in which they carry themselves. And to be honest, y'all, my generation, I say mine because I'm in this thing too, but I really believe my generation is really interesting because when did modesty, right? Let's be honest here tonight on this app. And if you're in the comments, let's have a conversation. When did modesty, right, became an era? Or maybe I've been asleep, because I know a lot of people never really dressed a certain kind of way. Is it just now like a new thing that is being introduced to society or young girls? Like when did like modesty become an era? Like I'm so curious. And if you're in the comments, touch base with me. Like, when did we put an era to modesty? Because if you look at the definition, y'all, let me go on Google because I have like a few different things running at once, right? What is a definition? Okay, so let's define modesty. Modest. Okay, so if we define modesty, so it talks about the quality of being relatively moderate, limited, or small in amount, rate, or level. It says another things talks about. It says something about like your behavior, your manner, appearance intended to avoid, just inappropriateness and stuff like that. So that's just like a Google snippet of like the concept of modesty. And hi, Tia. Okay, you can, but you're free to share your opinion. So if you're just joining tonight, we're talking about like this whole eras that we find ourselves, right? We're in a generation. There's so many eras, like there is soft girl era, the modesty era, the feminine era, I guess, the clean girl aesthetic era, like so many eras. I feel like our generation has established, right? And I'm just curious to know, when do we get here? When do we get to all of these different eras? And my favorite one I've heard so far is the soft girl era. And I think a lot of that extra eras that we find ourselves, the modesty, the clean girl, the career, all of those things, I think soft girl era give birth to all of those other lines. But my question is, when do we get here? Because the men are not probably using these terms, but I think some men too, Tia, you can correct me if I'm wrong, are gravitating to these different eras. They have like eras where men are like, hey, I'm no longer dressing with my pants hanging low. I want to like change my aesthetics a little bit. I want to be more presentable, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. You should always be open to rebranding yourself and just realigning yourself as you age. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like there's so many different eras that people have. I feel like our generation has been naming, like giving birth to. There's a travel girl era. And I guess in this era, women just travel, right? Women are just travel. Hey, Nijay. So the topic is about the different eras, right? It's trending on the screen. It said, let's talk eras. So we're talking about all the different eras: soft girl era, clean girl era, modesty era, short hair girl era. Like we're in a generation that every day there's a new era giving birth to, right? So I'm talking about, how do we get to all the list of all these 7, 10, 11, 12 different eras? Here, I'll tell you, Google said there is about, let me tell you how many eras we find ourselves right now. You're welcome. So yeah, we're talking about all these little different eras. So one era is here, Google said, the clean girl era, right? It says the clean girl era is a lifestyle aesthetically characterized by minimal polish, effortlessly put together appearance, right? It's like, when did clean girl become an era? That's what I'm trying to get understanding tonight. Like, I just want to talk about all of these eras. And then we have my favorite, our soft girl era, right? It says an aesthetic that embraces cuteness and softness, often feature pastel colors, gentle and innocent themes. So that is labeled as what we call the soft girl era. We have another one I think we're all familiar with. It's called the hot girl summer, right? And y'all bear with me because I have used this before multiple times, like hot girl summer, hot girl summer, hot girl summer. But I didn't think it was an era, right? I didn't think it wasn't like an era. I just thought it was summertime and it's a hot girl summer because it was the song. Megan dropped a song called Hot Girl Summer. So I didn't even think people made it like an era, but I think now that I'm understanding it, they did make it an era. So it says basically a temporary trend-driven era focused on having fun, confident, and having like a social summer. So hot girl summer, I guess, is an era because You just want to have a good time. You want to be outside with your friends, and all of those good things. Okay, cool. Then there's one called the sad girl era. Sad girl era, y'all. Okay, so this one is an era associated with like, being more emotional and moody expression. So like this is what I'm talking about. Everything in our lives, it seems like every stages that we're trying to get to or evolve through, there is an era or is labeled as this era of our lives. So my question is, how did we get here? Right? How did we get to all of these different eras that we keep talking about? Right? Do you think we got here because of all these social media's influencer? Or do you think it was something eventually we were going to get there? For me, I think it's because of all these social media influencers, all these different platforms, telling you, people are doing aesthetic apartments, aesthetic restaurants. So I think it gave birth to all of these different eras. But I don't think there needs to be a sad girl era, because that's not an era of sadness. I think we all are carrier of sadness at one point in our life. Because when I think about the word era, okay, I got a comment. So Tia said, I personally feel American culture has done numbers of our women, hence hot girl summer, bad 50-50, and the list goes on. Right, exactly. American culture, society, I'll keep that comment up. American culture, society, social media, like there's so many, oh my God. There's so many contributing factors. I have to agree, when you say on our women, I mean like Black women, a lot of Black women are so like, that we're trying to break out of these habits. But yes, the culture is big influencer in this concept, right? Like you have social media is a driving force. It's like you're driving a car and social media is literally the main driver. Like you can't even get it in the driver's seat because it's the one moving that car and you're the passenger and just going with the flow. And just saying that. But yes, the American culture indeed has given birth to so many things, especially hot girl summer. Like I told you guys, I'm sorry, y'all. I was the one saying, yeah, it's hot girl summer. But yeah, I get it, right? And then you talk about the 50-50. That 50-50 conversation need to be deaded and not wake up again, because that conversation really gets to my skin. But you're so right, Tia. American culture really has done numbers on our women. I have to agree with you with that one. Thank you. The era about talking about is getting out of hand. That's another thing, right? Where people always talk about their private part. I think as a person, woman or male or female, it's really distasteful and gross for you to get on social media and talk about your private parts, or the eras of sexualize everything, right? Everything is overly sexualized. Everything. Like people would do a get ready with me on social media and they will literally start the video in their underwears, or the male or the female. And it's like, when do we get to this space that in order to create a fan base or an audience base, you have to be physically naked to do a get ready with me? When do we get here? When did this open for this era to be birthed? Like, when did we get here? This is my question tonight, right? All of these eras, all of these little trends that is happening, when did we get here? Nijay, Tia, can you answer that question for me? Like, when did we get here? When did the generation find ourselves get to this space where people are literally talking about their private parts all day on social media? How good it is, how this, how it does this. Like, when did we get here as a community, as a society, and as people, right? As people. Next question. Tia says, social media has falsified the standards of love, working 9 to 5, marriage, nudity, wealth generation, etc. Yes. Falsified is the right word. Social media has falsified so many standards. Even me, right? I am sick. Like, I don't even know how to go again. Because social media would give you their definition of love and people would take it and run. Social media will give you their definition of a 9 to 5. People will take it and run. Social media will give you their definition of marriage, which I hate this one. People will take it and run. Social media will give you their definition of generational wealth. People will take it and run. Tia, to be honest, I think social media is not the problem here. The individuals are the problem. Because social media, the first conversation, the first word is social. You and I both know what the word social means, right? To socialize is a kind of form of like a conversation, right? You're conversing, you're interacting, different forms. Now, it did not say take what you see media, right? It's social media. So I think social media is affecting many people because the way in which they are using each platform that has been given to them. I remember when we were younger, when Facebook became a thing, I think it was like 2008 or 9, I could be wrong, don't quote me. One of those years, or 07, one of that, when Facebook was first established. I remember I was so young, and my cousin was so excited to find like her elementary school classmates from like New Jersey, because that's where they grew up. But she was so excited to like have all these people, connect with them, and being able to like, touch base, right? That was what I remember people using Facebook for, right? And people just to socialize, connect with people, and like, oh my God, I found this person. Oh my God, I found this person. And even the era of MySpace, when we had MySpace, we didn't really do too much on MySpace. We went there, we made our little pages, put your little song, put your best friend there, and go about your day, right? So I think social media at one point was being used for the intended purpose, but now there's a lot. Okay, social media is also the means of control, misleading, and create a culture of followers. Absolutely. Social media, it is a means of control. But like I always say on my platforms, right? If you give power to something, it will always have control over you. So people that are consistently in and out of social, like just on social media, it is going to be a means of control for them. But there are some people that just come in, do what they got to do, post what they got to post, and go about their day, right? They have other lives, they have other hobbies, they have other things that they can engage in. They have other ways to stimulate their minds, educate themselves. But a lot of people, they don't, or they don't even know how to, or they're never even taking it upon themselves to establish such boundaries, right? So that's why it becomes a means of control for so many things. It's misleading because people get on there, don't take social media with a grain of salt. They take it literal. They take everything on social media literal. A person 22 years old buy them a big mansion, then you questioning yourself at 22 that you're not doing enough. Granted, there are people that are able to buy themselves a mansion at 22, right? But let's be realistic here. That person's money and your money are not the same. You don't even know how that person's funding their lifestyle to be able to purchase that home, right? This is where you make a choice. Do I take everything that I'm being shown literal, or do I take it with a grain of salt? So it can be misleading, but it's all up to that individual. And then it does create a culture of followers. Absolutely. Absolutely. You will see people say, oh, because this person did it and made them like they was able to quit the 9 to 5, I can do it too. And it's like, yeah, everybody carried different favor. Everybody carried different grace. Everybody have different anointing. So it may work for John. It may not work for Paul, right? And what worked for Paul may not work for John. And that is the honest truth. So social media, it is a means of control. But I think the people that get on these social medias and don't know how to properly use it with its right intention, they are going to continuously be getting controlled. So I agree with that piece also. Great point tonight, Tia. I really appreciate the engagement. But I think social media is why we got all these damn eras, right? The soft girl, the sad girl, the clean girl, the eating healthy. Like, listen, if you want to eat healthy, please do. I don't think it has to be an era attached to it. That's my problem, right? I don't think we need an era of something. Like I said previously, if you're just joining me on this app tonight, I said the soft era really give birth to a lot of different aspects of our lives. So the travel, the improvement of health, or just like you wanting to do better for yourself. I feel like all of that is found in that soft era, the era where you're working on regulating your nervous system more frequently than normal, give birth to other versions of you didn't even know exist. So the thing about these things is that it's like, because all these eras is a form of healing, right? A lot of us are healing. We're gonna go dive into trauma a little bit really quick to get to where I'm trying to go. So a lot of these eras are being established in a forms to heal certain wounds in ourselves, right? So the clean girl aesthetics is era aesthetics, or whatever you want to call it, is established to heal a wound. The soft girl era is established to heal a wound. The travel girl era is established to heal a wound. Every era that people are establishing is there for a specific purpose, right? To heal a wound, and the key word here is healing. It's healing, right? So here's my theory. If you work through that soft girl, right? So this is the era of soft girl. So you're learning everything about yourself. You're learning how to be kind to who you are. You're learning how to speak nice to yourself. You're learning how to talk life into yourself again. You're learning how to show up for who you are. You're learning how to prioritize you. You're learning how to set healthy boundaries. You're learning how to be gentle with yourself. You're learning how to like give yourself compassion. All of these nice things, when you think about the word soft, when you go through the stage of healing all of those things, all these other outside eras that people need, it comes together, right? It comes together because when you have healed yourself, when you have learned to be compassionate, when you have learned to be kind to yourself, when you have learned to be patient, that's a word tonight, with who you are and all of those things that you're trying to become, all these other era falls into place. So this generation, I think we need to understand you only need one era, which is that soft era, right? Because in that era, you can birth so many versions, so many layers of who you are. You can do that. You don't need 12 different. Even the concept of the modesty, right? I think everybody talk about, oh, my modesty era, my modesty era, my modesty. So you want to tell me, was he wearing proper clothes before? Like you wasn't wearing proper clothes? You wore clothes that your behind was outside? I don't think that needed to be an era. That's just common sense. You know, but again, in that soft era that you establish, it gives birth to that version of you that want to dress like a woman or that want to present yourself like a man, like a responsible man. It does not need to be a specific era for that. Because if you're being honest on this app, then the era comes to an end. Right? Era comes to an end. Correct me if I'm wrong. Era comes to an end, yes or no? Put it in a comment, yes or no, it does not. Okay, so Tia said, a lot of these eras you speak on exist, but it was more communicable and in person. Okay? Since the interception of social media, it has brought more toxicity, degrading our women, our culture. Yes, social media is a factor, T, but our people are the problem as well. It's a two-part problem here. We're not just going to haul it on social media tonight. You and I have each other on social medias, right? If I remember, you got me on Facebook, I got you. You got me on LinkedIn, I got you, right? So you and I are on social media platforms. I know I see what you post, you see what I post, right? The intention of social media, I feel like we both have understood like why we are on these platforms and what we're using it for. At the end of the day, it all boils down to that person as well. We can say social media has brought more toxic, degrading of our women, our culture, and norms. I agree with all of that, but it also falls back on those individuals. If toxicity sells, people brought it to social media. If degrading women sells, they brought it back to this in social media. And our culture and all of those norms is true. But before social media was here, we've been had these things. So social media, I would say, shine more light on all of these things that we've been had behind closed doors. Because toxic has been there. There have been people in toxic relationship. There have been people in DV relationship. Social media just give a platform to such relationships to be shine light upon. So that's why we see more toxicity faster than we used to. women was degraded before social media became a thing. So let's not forget that before we got to this whole thing, it been happening. I think the downside is social media has shone light on it, and there's pros and cons to it. If we're being honest here, you and I both know there's a pro to it and there's a con to it, and also our culture and our norms, right? I mean, your culture is your culture. Social media shouldn't have that much power to change your culture. If it does, then that's a question. And also the norms. There are certain norms social media should not have no power in changing. And that's the honest truth. So I agree, but I also say like our individual plays a role. You and I won't get on this Facebook. We know how we're using it, right? Because we're setting the tone. But all of these other things, it was there. Social media just shone light on it. Don't get me wrong. Is it good? No. Did it make it go even like skyrocketed because of social media? Absolutely. Absolutely. But all of these things has been there, been in our community, been in our society. It's not going to go away. I just think the downfall is social media is amplifying it more. And then we have these other people in it that just take everything in them when they see it with their eyeball. Social media say your man don't buy you a bouquet of flowers, he don't love you. Boop. Now you're telling your man he don't love you because he didn't buy you like a bouquet of flowers. So it's like we can't take everything we see on these platforms so literal. Take it with a grain of salt and go about your day. That's my take. So yes, all these eras that I speak of came to be through social media, because it's the same social media that these people are coming on telling us about, the clean girl era. I'm going to sit here tonight. I love the soft girl era because it's an era that gave birth to all of these other eras, right? But I think the funniest era I keep hearing is this modesty era. I'm telling y'all, I always ask, so when people are saying their modesty, it's like my only question is, so you never dressed properly before now is an era? And I'm still asking my question. You know, people be like, oh, my modesty era, you know, my church girl era. So you wasn't going to church before? It have to be an era? Like somebody got to prop their tripod, put on church clothes, hold a Bible on the arm, and go to church for you to be activated to go to church? Now is an era? I think that is so weird. I really think that is weird. That we wait for, like Tia said in the beginning, for people to influence so many things before we do it. Somebody should influence you to know how to dress properly when you're in a social settings. It's not an era of modesty, because like I said previously, every era comes to an end. It comes to an end. So if you're in your modesty era and that comes to an end, are you going back to dressing how you used to dress? Provocative? Is that what you're saying? So when I hear those kind of things, that's what my brain goes to, like, but wait, if you're in a church girl era, are you there for like a certain time frame and then eventually you go back, or is this a lifetime thing? So we're gonna ask Google, how long does an era last? That's what I'm curious to know. Now come in. Oh. Okay, it says eras can last for decades or centuries or even longer. So it all depends on how long you want it to last, right? It all depends on how you want it to last. Joy says, so true. Some of them use social media to look down on others. Exactly. You know, people use social media for so many reasons, Joyce. You're so right. And this is what we're talking about. Like, social media was given to us to socialize with our peers, you know, and just connect with one another. Because I don't see you, but at least when I get on, I say, oh, wow, you know, I see Joyce, she's doing so well. Or, you know, if you have a business, social media allow you to see that person. But it's not used to act like we're better than one another. Nobody's better than a friend. If we're being honest here tonight, you know, social media was created to socialize. That really it. If you really Google social media, it was created to socialize, to stay in contact, to connect with people. But now I think the concept of social media has been taken as the so many contexts, and I think it's been really abused. if you ask me, I think like social media really has been abused, and it's not fair because some people really just get on this app to socialize with one another and just catch up with their colleagues, catch up with their friends that don't live nearby, and be like, wow, this person got married and everything like that. But yeah, so Joyce, I agree with you with that piece. I definitely agree. I agree. But yes, like I said, y'all, the life we want is not an era, right? The life you want to live is not an era. Being being respectful, being kind to yourself is not a specific era. You should always be kind to yourself. You should always treat yourself with respect. You should always dress appropriately. You should always be presentable no matter what. So I don't think it's like a specific era um you have to get in before you want that for yourself, right? It's not a specific era. It's something that you should already want for yourself regardless. So please, if you're watching tonight, let's kind of come to a space collectively that evolving is not an era, right? Because eventually era does come to an end, or they can go on for a lifetime. But these basic clean girl aesthetics era, really, modesty era, really, all of those are not really in era. I think it's just like it's okay to want to get into a season of your life that you want to like do better for yourself, that you want to evolve better and just be better, right? I think it's okay to get into that season of your life and wanting to rebrand yourself. I really like the concept of rebranding myself than the concept of an era, right? I think rebrand is such a beautiful word because it's like giving you that space to rebrand 360 of who you are. Not half, not a piece, not a portion, but like a whole version of you, who you are. And I think rebrand, oh Lord, me and this word tonight, sounds better than like these little eras that people want to step into, But if you ask me tonight, my favorite era, if we're talking, I love the soft girl era where you just focus on everything soft and you embracing that gentleness of who you are and all of that. So that is my first part of my segment tonight, talking about the concept of eras and everything like that. And then before I end this segment, because we go for an hour, I just wanted to dive into a topic that is very simple, but I just want to touch base on it. And this message is for my women and my women, men too, you can chop on, is the concept of accountability, right? I think a lot of the time women are not taught to take accountability for their actions and the part that they play in situations. There's a lot of people that play a part in so many situations, but this victim mindset has been a trend in so many communities, so many, groups of people. But I'm just talking about my women tonight. I want us to work on utilizing the power of taking accountability, right? It is so important to understand there's a power behind being held accountable. I know it sounds like somebody scolding you or making you feel bad, but really it's not. Understanding there's power behind a lot of these things will really change your perspective of it and also enlighten your understanding of it as well. Being held accountable for things that you did or have said allows you to grow, right? It opens rooms for you to grow. And I think a lot of the time people don't see that as a growth step or a tool to put in the pocket, but it's something that I feel like should be talked about. I think a lot of women are not taught to be held accountable. Sometimes things happen because women have a large community. They have a large community of support groups or their homegirls, and they're automatically enabled for the harm or the wrong or the things that they say. And I don't think that's right. So I think as a woman tonight, if you're watching, I want to encourage you and challenge you to be able to take accountability for your role in situations, for the things that you say, for how you treat people. Because one thing about this life, karma always come back to you. What they say, the table always turns. And the crazy part about these tables, they are going to turn when you least expect them to turn. That's the crazy part about it. So if you're a woman and victimization is your mean suit that you wear, you're a victim of everything, and people only wrong you, you don't wrong nobody. I encourage you tonight on this app to really tap into the lens of being held accountable, to be able to sit with your own issue and actually understand your role that you play in it, right? I think there's a lot of power in that. And as you work on releasing yourself from all of these 12 different eras, that's another way you can step into the soft era that most women want to get into. I think there's so much power in being held accountable, because if you don't take accountability for your actions and what you did to someone and what you have done to someone, life will remind you why you should have in so many ways. In so many ways. A perfect example I can say of this tonight before I leave is, if you all know Ray J, the singer, he got married to this lady named Princess Love, right? He got married to Princess Love. But before he got married to her, he was dealing with another woman. Her name is Tierra Marie. She was a singer. I don't know if she sings no more, but that used to be my girl back then. We're growing up, I listen to Tierra. That's my girl. But long story short, when Princess and Ray J had got together, there was like a lot going on there, and she really played in Tierra Marie's face, or she just disrespected her, because most women, when they get the man now, everything you say, oh, you're a liar, he ain't like that, all of those things. But long story short, Princess is living her karma because she didn't take accountability of the crap that she did, right? And stuff like that. So there's a power in accountability tonight, and I want to encourage my women to do that. It is Friday. I know this is the day after Thanksgiving, so a lot of people are with their family or with their friends and just getting ready to celebrate. I mean, it's a weekend. Some people are off, some people are working, but it's Friday, and I know a lot of people have stuff going on. So tonight's segment will be a little bit short. It's been a long week, even though I'm off today, but I am a little tired. So I'm going to call it a night tonight. But before I leave you tonight, I just want to leave you guys with something. We live in a generation where social media is a driving force, but I encourage you to please take social media with a grain of salt. Social media should not have so much power in your life to the point that you change your standards, you change your perspective on a lot of things. You understand? Social media should be giving not that high of a percentage in your life. It shouldn't be giving like even close to 50%. That's still high if you ask me. Social media should be giving less than that, because the intended purpose of social media is social lies, not the other way around. I just want to put that out there. But before, one more. So Joy said we play the victim and said, yes, a lot of women plays victim, and that is a problem. A lot of women are CEOs of the victim category. They throw the rock and hide their hands. There's a lot of women that carry that suit, and it's wrong. It's really wrong. I don't condone men hitting women. That's not what I'm saying on this app. But I also believe women should keep their hands to themselves. If you lack anger management skills, go find an anger management class. But you should not be physically assaulting someone. You just shouldn't. You just shouldn't. I know we teach our boys to not hit back, which is true, but we should also teach our daughters to take their hands of women, right? I think I have to go, but I'm just saying this because Joyce made a point here. What I've seen to a lot of women, not only are they not taught accountability, I think they're not taught how to properly express themselves, right? I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't know how to express themselves. Some people express themselves with physical. Some women express themselves being like they would hit that man, throw things at him, and everything like that. So I think a lot of women are not properly taught how to express themselves. So Joyce says let the media out and get to understand what social is. Absolutely, right? Social is to socialize, to talk, to engage. So if you would go on Google right now, Mate, you know me in my Google with 5 and 6. Meaning of social, the word social, it says relating to society or organization, needing companionship, therefore best suited to live in communities, just like social gatherings, socializing, just concept of like engaging, it says seeking enjoyment of others, friendly, sociable things. That's really what social media is. But people use social media and abuse it for the wrong reason, right? Let's be honest here tonight. When you get on the social media, just enjoy it. Social media is really fun. The amount of things I have learned from social media, I mean, I'm not thinking about like drama or anything. Like, I love reading like inspirational messages. I love reading people that have overcome so much in their life. I love reading about people's success stories of businesses. I love seeing like people share like educational, in development goals, business goals. I love seeing the kids, people post their kids. I love seeing it. Like social media is such a beautiful place and can be used for so many beautiful reasons. I think people just choose to abuse it because they want to. Yeah, that's really the truth. I think people just want to be weird people and they just abuse it and take everything out of context and just make it like, oh, social media is so bad. No, social media is not a bad place. It's how you use social media that makes it a bad place. Because some people do use social media inappropriately because there should be no reason why, like Tia said previously, that you would get on social media and post like a naked picture of who you are. There should be no reason why you have to do that. Right? There should be no reason why. So I agree, Joyce. A lot of the time they forgot why we're here. To social, to engage, not to post naked picture, cuss each other up. It's like socialize. And if that's your form of socializing, then I'm kind of worried about your kids. But that's another story. That is another story. But, I think a lot of us are misusing social media. So that's why social media has so much power in so many homes. There are some people that they don't even have a social media account. They don't even have social media. And another thing too, I think this social media is affecting children. I read a book. I have it in my bookcase. I don't know the author of the book, but I know the name of the book. It's called The Anxious Generation. If you want to read a good book, it's by a psychologist. It's called The Anxious Generations. And the gentleman that wrote that book, he's talking about the rise of depression in people because of social media. Right? He's talking about that. And he also shone light on that people don't use social media for its intended purpose. People are not using it. And because you're not using it, I'm about to leave, but you open a conversation that I need to talk about before I leave here tonight. Children shouldn't have access to social media. Heck yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. How many times I say yes, y'all? I say yes so many times on this app here today. Children should not have access to social media. Wait, Papa, let me put it here on a page here because I needed people then to know this comment is literally accurate. Children, let me put our library English. Small children in. Small children in a lot of decimal point. I'm coming back to you. I'll come back to that point. Little kids should not have access to social media platforms. I don't care if the parents is running a page. They should not have no access to no social media. And I agree with that. And Joyce also agree. Okay, good job. And then my other Tia says, my kids only have access to kids YouTube and kids YouTube only. Absolutely. And the thing about kids YouTube is monitored and you can put it's limited. It's all kids friendly. But I think a lot of people give social media to kids. They're like, oh, well, they go to school, they have their friends, they need to keep up with their friends. Why? What Joy said, she said, small trim will not get on Facebook. They get Facebook. They get a lot of these little kids got Facebook. They got Facebook. T said, parents need to create a craft weekly schedule as the same as. Absolutely. I think a lot of, what I'm seeing here, T, a lot of parents don't have a structured schedule for themselves. Remember, what we don't have, we can't give, right? What we don't have, we cannot give to our kids. And a lot of parents, they don't have a set schedule. The only schedule they have that is set that I know of is that job. They know the job schedule. They know when they're supposed to be to the people work, and they know when they're supposed to come home, right? But they don't have like a set schedule. And a lot of parents don't even have a hobby. If we're being honest today, a lot of parents don't have a hobby. So when you don't have these things, it's hard to implement them for your children. So if you are more active on social media, your kids are prone to being active on social media. It's equal, right? And if your child sees, oh, mommy has a hobby, mommy has swim class, or mommy do this, mommy don't be on social media. A lot of the kids will pick up after that because we all know parents are your first teachers, right? They're the first teacher, they're the first foundation for so many things. So if I'm looking at my mom, she spent all her days on Facebook, scrolling, talking to people, myself will want to do the same thing too. Kids are watching us. So if you don't have a routine, your child is not going to have a routine. If you don't have a hobby, your child definitely won't have a hobby because you can't even introduce that to them to say, hey, let's learn how to knit together. Let's do this together. Even the concept of TV, right? When I was growing up, I don't remember watching TV as much as kids watch TV. Like the way some kids would sit in front of that TV for almost 4-5 hours as an adult. I still can do it. When I was younger, we had hobbies. We had things. We was outside. Even in the winter, we had our snow pants, snow boots, our little hats, our little gloves, and our little, what's this thing, the scarves, and we tuck them in our little snow clothes, and we literally went outside and played in the winter. My cousin and I remember we used to make our little snowman, snowwoman stuff, but nowadays, a lot of children don't have any form of socialization except social media. Right? And we come back to your point, T, regarding like the influences on like our women, the toxicity, our culture, and the norms. We come back to that point again because why? It's so early introduced that the toxic, the degradation, the cultural struggle, the norms are at war because it's so introduced early in children, right? It's solely introduced early in children. So we need to prioritize our kids the same way we cater to our jobs. Create a weekly schedule for example, okay, include reading, writing, math, arts, and crafts. Absolutely, I agree with you. I really do. As we talk about like eras and other things that led to our conversation here tonight, I think a lot of us are the problem. I keep saying, a lot of us are the problem tonight. A lot of us, oh, you guys are so nice engaging with me. I love these conversations, T. Miss T and Joyce, yeah, thank you tonight. It says, oh yeah, most of mothers don't have a person-centered practice. We don't care what the child do at home while we're at work all week. Absolutely, Joyce. Absolutely. I love that word. My hair is falling down. Let me just take it from. Right? I think a lot of us don't have person-centered practice. Ooh, Joyce, you ate with that one. Person-centered. Person-centered mean, just a snippet, that is centered around your child. You know, T, and we'll come back to your comment if I go back to Joyce. You know, a lot of parents don't even do craft. And when we think about craft, I think we limit craft to coloring the book and drawings. Anything that I think with your hands in a way is like a craft. Baking with your kids, right? Putting those little bead strings together, knitting, cooking. Those are little crafts that you can do with your kids, but we limit so much. But you're so right. A lot of parents need to create that. We need to prioritize our children. We need to prioritize education in our children, right? We need to prioritize our kids. It's so true. So they can remove from this social media. Let me tell you guys, in my graduate program, I wrote my last paper on depression and social media and depression. And research showed that social media is a large contributing factor in depression with people and with children. It's social media. And that paper was 25 pages. Let me just talk you to that. 25 pages. I defended my statement. I defended my research. And research proved it. Social media is a big factor in children's depression. It's social media these kids are bullied on. It's social media that people feel like they're left behind because somebody did not buy a Lamborghini at 19 and they're 19 and they are working at McDonald's. It's social media. Most people are struggling with suicide ideations. It's social media that most people are getting financially exploited. I mean, social media contributes a large percentage. Don't get me wrong, depression, anxiety, there's all the contributing factors. But research has proved and shown that it's a large part when you're looking at the numbers on the stats. Social media plays a big role. And in all of those roles, we come back to my topic tonight. All of these eras come back again. My this era, my that era, because social media is influencing those parts. And which is what he said earlier when he was here. What did you say? Says this is where the father or man of the house step in. You're right. You know, the father should step in according to George's comment. The father should step in, and this is where it comes. So you're right. Okay, so parents are not talking to their kids. They rather ignore them in providing them device to distract them. Absolutely. It's the technology generation, right? That generation I'm highly upset with. You're absolutely right. A lot of people are technology parents, and that is the honest truth. There's a lot of parents that are technology focused. They are literally like, why do a 3-year-old have an iPad if it's not for a specific reason? Why does a 3-year-old have an iPad? The things that 3-year-old knows when it comes to technology, I'm baffled. I am baffled. You know, it's like, yeah, that kid is very smart, but it's like at age 3, aren't you learning how to potty train? How do you know how to work an iPad? And then by 10, oh Lord, don't even get me there. They already have Snapchat and they know how it runs. They have a TikTok account. They have all of these things. It's like, I love smart kids, but I think parents rush their kids. So you're right. They give them these devices to help them, to distract them, so don't think about it. And the thing about it is that if you're giving children devices like those kind of things, at least create a system on it to help guide their innocence, protect their innocence. There you go. This one, right? Why you think kids are speech delay, expressing themselves, ADHD, and short attention span? Social media. I'm telling y'all, when I wrote that document for my grad school program, first of all, let me say I got an A on that paper, 25 pages. I defended my statement. In this comment, I talk about that. A lot of children are speech delay. A lot of children lack the ability to self-express themselves. A lot of children lack emotional intelligence. A lot of children lack the self-regulation skills simply because of all of this device that people don't really think is powerful. Is contributing to so many things in children. It brings me back to the era of technology. Like when technology took off, there's always pros and cons to everything. But when technology took off, oh baby, it took off, and it took off heavy, right? It took off heavy. So I agree with you, T. So many kids have speech delays. So many kids don't know how to express themselves. They don't even know how to regulate their emotions. They don't even know how to name their emotions. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. But we'll come there. And the device now control how the children, control the train of the parents' choice. Exactly, right? The device controls the children. Can you imagine? I went to the store a couple of weeks ago, and this little girl passed out simply because, they were waiting in line, like in the checkout line, and there was a couple of people before them, and then they were up next, and then it was going to be me. And the little girl wanted to play on her parent, I think it was the mom or dad phone. So the dad was like, oh no, they don't really do phones. So he was like, you know what, we're waiting. We really don't do phones. But since we're waiting, you've been great in the store. Here you go. So I was saying that this man on his wife's phone set a timer, right? He set a timer for this little girl. He gave her 5 minutes, hoping like the person in front of him and then the next person will go, and then it'll be, it will be their turn. Put the little 5-minute timers on. But before he put it on, this is what he said to his daughter. He's like, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to play on the phone while we wait in line. But when the 5 minutes is up and we're still waiting, he said that time is done. That little girl said, yeah. Dad put the timer on mom's phone, handed the other phone to the kiddo. Kiddo play on their social, not social, like on their little YouTube things that they were doing. Luckily, when the timer went off, it was their turn. But that child had no type of issue. That is a healthy use right there. When we talk about structure, when we talk about schedule, that's what we're talking about. If a child is at an age that they can use social media, it should be monitored. You should be able to supervise it, right? There's a certain amount of hours in a day. Set a timer, set a limit. If that child abuses it, then that privilege is taken away. I think if we start teaching children that certain things in life is a privilege, it's a different type of conversation you'll be having as an adult. Because when we was growing up, and I'm going to say we, I'm not old, but I'm just saying we used to walk to the libraries to get on MySpace. You understand? Because in your house, that internet your mom gets it, it's not for you to get on MySpace. And I'll be damned if you get on any type of platforms knowing you shouldn't be on that platform. That was an issue. So we used to go to the libraries, right, back in those days with our little friends, either after school or on the weekend. And the good thing is the library used to give us 1 hour. I don't know if anybody remember the T. If you remember, they drop it in the comments. The library used to give us 1 hour, right? 1 hour to play on a computer, and you could do anything. You can go on YouTube, you can go on MySpace. At that time, you can go on like whatever social media that was trending at that era, during that age when we're at like 2003, 4, 2005, 2006, 6, 7, 8, and so forth. But we was given limited, right? We was given limited. Yes, Joy, set a timer, limited, let them know that they have to listen and be part of and learn learn apart from the devices. Absolutely. Set a timer with the kids, let them have a break, take it away. But in our generation, when we was growing up, yeah, we used to go to the library. The library people they'll give you 1 hour. And when that 1 hour finished, it will shut it down. That's what they did at the library. I think they still do that too. When that 1 hour was done, it shut down. They were not something. You would have to go back, I think, to the librarian person, and then it will give you like a new thing or something like that. There was like a little system put in place, right? There was a little system put in place. And that's really what it is. It's like, so for so long at an early age, we were introduced to limits. And I think T, this generation, and Joyce, you can agree with me, is that parents don't have limits for kids. And the reason I think a lot of these parents don't have limit for kids because everybody want to be a cool parent. Everybody want to be that cool parent, the cool mom, the cool auntie, the cool this, the cool dad, the cool, the this, the that, the that. It's like everybody wants to be the cool parent. So nobody is willing to set limits for their kids because I want to be a cool mom. I don't want to be that kind of mom that my children get to whatever. You should. I believe children should be afraid of their parents. I really believe that. I'm going to say here tonight. Yes. I'm not saying my child should see me and be shaken. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my child should know, like, my mom don't play that. So when I misbehave, I got to walk in line and walk in line quick. Right? I want my kids to have that mindset of me. Because at the end of the day, if that child, you don't install certain things in your child, and that child feel, as a parent, you are to blame. You are to blame. A lot of people that misuse social media, some of them are older adults coming from Africa, they never seen it so much. Like, bro, I think you buy data. America, you not even gotta buy data. You can walk right here to Walmart, internet, they're giving to you. You can go right here to Target, internet giving to you. So you're not buying no data. If you got internet on your phone, some space you go in the whole United States, you can get these data to communicate. So that's why a lot of people abuse these things. He said, kids have become the parents and parents have become their friends. They have. A lot of parents want to be friends with their kids. It is not your job to be friends with your kids. That would mean as an adult, you should have your own set of friends. So your children are not your friend. Your children are not your friend. Say it with me. My children are not my friend. My children are not my friend. Let it be a slogan tonight. My children or kids are not my friend. Go have adult friend your age. Okay? There's a reason why you are an authoritative figure in their life for a reason. If God wanted you and your child to be equal, I'm sure you're going to be born at the same time. That's not how it works. That just let you know your kids are not your friend. They're not your age mate. They're not your equal. Right? Children are learning from their parents. So if you are moving like your kids are your friend, you will pay the price. You will pay the price. And the price is disrespect. Let me be honest with you. See, ma in store and a child disrespecting in public, you know how embarrassing that is simply because you want the child to be your parent and you be their friend. It don't work like that. I said it tonight, I'm going to say it again. If you don't take nothing from this life, say Edwina, say. I like when children fear me. I do. I get a kick out of children fearing me. I want you to fear me. I want you, when you hear my name, to say, Auntie Edwina is coming. I want you to jump. I want you. I don't beat kids, though. I want you to understand. I'm not that person to beat. No, I'm not that. But I'm also that person that is very disciplined. So when it comes to kids, I don't play with them. My nieces that know me for that. They would tell you, Auntie Winner, don't play that. They play with all the other aunties, but this one, they could never. My nieces then could never play with me, and they know me for that. Because I gave you one apple, you shall move. That's me. Joyce said, yep, my kids are my kids. I'm the parent, and that's that. Absolutely. You are the parents. There's a reason why you are in charge. Don't come sit out here and let small children, like people can say, don't come let children clear on top of your head. I don't even know what that means. But don't come let no small child clear on your head. Man, that child is going to clear. Exactly. But your kids are your kids. And you are the parent. I'm not saying you can meet your kids where they're at. But there's an age and there's a time for such. Me, a 5-year-old, don't negotiate. That's the truth. I don't negotiate with a 5-year-old. I can negotiate with a 10-year-old maybe on certain things. You know what I mean? 15-year-old, 16-year-old. Like I said, there's an age and there's a time for everything. But those small, small ones, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Go tiba, go tiba. If we negotiate, maybe you can say, Mommy, can I take back at 7 instead of 6:30? If there is time, sure. But, just minimal. But I think a lot of the time, because people want to be like that cool parent, they just let kids do whatever. Kids are on social media longer than they need to. Kids are using social media for like just the wrong reasons. And I just be like, the parents are the problem. The same way I said that social media not a problem is the individual. The parents are the problem. The parents are the reason why these kids are on these social medias. These kids are using social media for the intended, which they intended not for it not to be used. So it's the kids, it's the parents, and it's the individuals tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, is 1 hour and 10 minutes. I love the engagement. Tonight I am chatting with Tia and Miss Joyce. Before I leave here tonight, let me give a shout out to my girl Joyce. Joyce is one of my homegirls. Joyce braids my hair. So anytime you see me on this live and you see my hair braided, just know Miss Joyce Kova is my braider. She's always the one I get my hair in order. I take out the hair that Joyce. So Joyce has a hair business. If you ever look wants to braid your hair, hit up Joyce. She said she'll take a break, but that doesn't apply to me. But anyways, I'm going to shout out to my girl Joyce tonight. If you're looking for a braid in Brooklyn Park, she's really good. She's very fast and she's so kind. And she cook for you when you come visit her too. But I think I'm the only customer when I get that treatment. But that's my girl Joyce. Joyce, thank you for joining me tonight. It was really good engaging with you. Mr. T, Mr. Tia, I just want to say thank you. Tia too is an educator. I love this man. He does a lot of good things. He speaks so much wisdom. Tia, I want to say, I know I haven't really said it to you. Like you are a voice to this community that we find ourselves. I believe you have so much to contribute when it comes to the educational piece in our children. You have a heart for kids, and I love that. And I have a heart for kids too. I pray that one day we'll do business or we'll join our mindsets together and just do something for the community. But Mr. Tia, he has I think a tutoring agency or company. I don't want to be wrong, but he has some like tutoring agency. So if you also need just connect with him. Well, let me say that tonight. Connect with Tia. He's really good. He knows his stuff. He has a passion for what he does. He's ready to serve. He has connections. He's also willing to, just give his insight on something if asked. So thank you both tonight for joining me on the social segment with Winn. Tonight, as we wrap up, Joyce, your work on all that free promotion. Yeah, so you should give me a discount. Nah, I'm kidding, y'all. But I just want to say thank you guys for joining me tonight on social segment with Winn. I'm always here on Friday, just having a conversation. Next week, I will be back on Friday. And the segment is going to be a surprise. I'm going to have a couple people on the platforms talking because I think this is a topic that we need to talk about as women and also in our African community as well. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I love the conversation. Yes. Next week, Friday, we'll be back. I have a conversation, but I'm not going to release the topic tonight. I will say when we get on Friday. But T, I will definitely send you the link when I'm on. And please feel free if you ever want to come on anytime, just shoot me a text or messenger, and definitely we can put a topic together, me and you, and we can have a conversation. So always feel free. That door is open. Please don't hesitate if you ever want to do that. But it's been a beautiful conversation tonight. Thank you, Joyce, again. Thank you, Mr. Tia, for the beautiful conversation and the engagement. I really appreciate it. Thank you for respecting the boundaries. We can agree to disagree. I just love it. Thank you, guys. It's been wonderful. It is Friday. Your girl is tired, and I'm going to end it here tonight. I just want to say have a good night. Enjoy the weekend. Be kind, be safe, and be good. Good night, y'all. Bye. Winn is clocking out.